So we're speaking on the transit of October 2022. And this is indeed a very, very difficult time that we are passing through. And I had a lot of apprehensions in making any astrology updates because it is a very intense time for all of us, myself included. So none of us are free of karma, right? I mean, even though we understand things, we study things, we know better with knowing things, but when we are actually in the crux of receiving this energy, we have a lot of issues to resolve for our own lives to make the quality of our lives better. And that is always the goal and the aim for everyone who actually goes through anything in their lives, when it be whether it be a struggle, whether it be a elation of sorts or a deflation of sorts when it comes to energy. But the last few months, right from June 4th, when Saturn started retrograding, it retrograded in the sign of Aquarius and it entered for one last time to be in Capricorn. And it is in Capricorn at present. Saturn went into Capricorn on the 20th of January 2022. Sorry, 2020. So in this time, when Saturn went into Capricorn in Jan 20th, 2020, this particular energy got us all into lockdown and we all sat at home and we all started to really, really pay attention to our relationships. Following that, the energy in September 2020, Rahu and Ketu shifted axis from being in Gemini and Sagittarius to being in Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus being the main house, the lead house of inheritance, money, security, individual's wealth that he's born into. And Scorpio being the deep subconscious mind to actually like track the energies of how subconsciously one feels with the security that one has. All of that was shaken up in from September 2020 to April 2022 till Rahu and Ketu now have shifted access after 18 months into Aries and Libra. So this emphasis of this energy has been there since April 2022. Rahu, wherever it goes in any chart, it always emphasizes on that energy to be the mandate for the next 18 months. And Ketu, wherever it goes and sits in a chart, it closes the soul contracts in that particular house. So Libra being the natural seventh house of anybody's chart in general, Libra is a sign of balance. Libra is a sign of relationship. Libra is owned by the planet Venus, while as Aries is a sign of fire, determination, the self, the personality of an individual, and also it is ruled by the planet Mars. So we all know that Mars and Venus are different sects of energy. It is Venus is more of acquiring wealth, the Maya, the money, the stock market. That's Venus, and Mars is more the soldier. It's a determinational force of an individual. So Mars and Venus have been in play for a very long time because it's also Taurus and Scorpio is also Taurus is ruled by Venus, Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and then now Aries is ruled by Mars and Libra is ruled by Venus. So this energy of Venus and Mars has been in play from September 2020 in different ways, right? Now the lockdown has opened up. People are revisiting their work lives, their routines. They're revisiting their friends, and they're finding a big shift of energy in themselves. So the last solar eclipse, it happened this year. It happened in the axis of Rahu and Ketu, but it happened in Aries. That's when the sun was in Aries and the solar eclipse happened there. So there was a lot of emphasis on what do I want from my life. I have sat in lockdown. I have reevaluated my work. I've reevaluated the way I live. I reevaluated my lifestyle. I've reevaluated my relationship. And now I'm going back out there in the world and I'm feeling a little bit funny, right? And this is happening to all of us in different ways when we are out there in the world. And then we're coming back to our relationships, which is the seventh house of Libra. So we are finding that there's a lot of lack of potential for things to grow there. There's a lot of nitpicking behavior happening there. We are reviewing a lot of a lot of energies in the way we are conducting our relationships. So this particular eclipse, the solar eclipse now, is coming in Libra, and the sun is debilitated in Libra. So it's not really happy when it comes to Libra. And in this solar eclipse mixture, we have a Venus that is also there in its own sign, a Mercury, and a moon, and a debilitated sun, along with Ketu, the south node of the moon. And wherever Ketu goes and sits, it always creates a sort of a suction energy. So Venus, when it goes in contact with Ketu, one has to be very, very careful with stocks. One has to be very careful with losing money, extra expenses, and also losing the wife or losing the relationship at large. Because if you've had relationship issues, they will get resolved at this point of time. Like if you've been wanting a divorce for a very long time, you've been in court, the next 6 months is going to bring like a signature and a complete closure to relationship, to that particular relationship that you've been struggling with. But if you like are have starting to have issues from the first eclipse, this is the time actually in which you will confront your boundaries. You will also be confronting someone else's boundaries. And one of the most important things that I came across this morning was actually I was struggling for the last 3-4 days to give this update, because I was trying to make it more linear and make it understandable to all, because astrology is not everyone's piece of cake. So one of the most important things I recognized in a dynamic for myself is that we as human beings, when we are given any sort of trauma, we have two responses, and it's the most natural two responses. One is to fight, and the other one is to flight, which means to run away or to take on the challenge and fight it. The ones who fight are always seen as the ones who control the situation, and the ones who flight are always seen as the people who are able to detach very easily and are kind of cool, but they also have their own sense of looking at situations, and they cannot engage in it because they have a flight response. So in a relationship as well, there is always one fighting and the other one flighting. You can always see that, because two people cannot be in control at the same time. They can be in control of their own lives, but when they have a life together and they've created this life together, it's very important that one person takes a fight and the other one takes a flight in any situation. If both are fighting in the situation, there's no person taking any perspective in this situation. So at this point of time, the energy is so jumbled up that both are fighting or both are flighting, one of the two, but there's not one fighting and there's not one flighting. So at this point of time, if you are having a relationship issue, it's very important that you all are able to communicate from I am statements, that I'm not comfortable having this conversation right now because it's making me feel like I'm going to lose you, or like I'm going to, I don't want to hurry this decision. So speaking from I am statements instead of saying you did this to me, you did that to me, and this is why we are in this place because of these decisions that you made. These situations, these kind of conversations are not going to be able to, have you get through a situation with ease. And this particular eclipse is dealing with a lot of things that you allowed to slip under the carpet when it comes to relationships, because this is the emphasis of this eclipse is to bring more emphasis towards yourself, where Rahu is sitting, and really asking yourself, what is it that you require from your life, and is your relationship serving you for that? It's not only the relationship with your significant other, but it's also your relationship with the world at large, be it your business relationships, your business partnerships, and the interaction that you have, the interaction field that you have with others. This is a particularly strong eclipse that is going to address your energies and your frustrations in these spaces. and for you to actually own your power back and come back to where Rahu is trying to take you. So this Rahu Ketu axis has entered in April of 2020 and it's finishing only 18 months after. So always whenever Rahu Ketu shifts an axis and goes to any sign, it has 3 eclipses in solar and 3 eclipses in lunar. So in total there are 6 eclipses, and the eclipse season comes every 6 months. So the first eclipse will always open the energy, the second eclipse will always reveal the energy, and the third eclipse will close the chapter, especially in these two houses. So now we are on the second round where there's a revelation phase, and we have Saturn already now going to station to go direct on the 25th of October. So when it stations on the 23rd of October and goes direct on the 25th, at that particular moment, this blast of the solar eclipse happens. So it's going to have a huge revelation in all our lives. It's going to have a huge burst of energy that's going to come, and it will be Martian in nature because there is a lot of Mars in which is activated in the sky, because Saturn is in the nakshatra of Dhanishta, which is ruled by Mars. Then Rahu is in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Mars will start going retrograde on the 31st of October. So Mars's energy will start picking up in Taurus. So the emphasis is a lot on your personal security as an individual, on your assets, on your stocks, on your home and property, on the inheritance. Everyone is fighting for inheritance at this point of time and is fighting for inherited property at this point of time. This has also been the emphasis in September 2020, and it will continue till March of 2023, till Mars actually leaves Taurus in March of 2023. So this eclipse will give you that added boost, that last spot of energy for you to fight and really resolve this matter, because it is a matter of personal balance that you are trying to achieve with Rahu in Aries, and it is a matter of the soul to feel at ease and to have its narrative perfectly listened to and answered to. There are many people at this point of time also having a very deep spiritual awakening of sorts, and I would like to put the message out there that whenever you are having these deep, intense moments of loss, lack, feeling very lonely, left behind, you must take a walk in nature and try to appreciate everything that's alive around you. You know, as much as you want to stay at home and you want to sleep and you want to cry and you want to really feel like shedding this old self, because you're really seeing a new emphasis on life and seeing that everything you've done so far has been pointless. This particular spiritual awakening needs to be balanced with some reality of some sort. So it's very important that you take a salt bath, hug a tree, walk in nature, walk barefoot, see everything for what it is, because sometimes we also lose a sense of reality when such deep transits are happening, and it is a very intense transit. And for whoever wants to get your personal chart read, you can always get in touch with me, personal message me, and I will give you the mandate on how that works. A transit video, I must add, is only 20% of the flavor. So the real flavor is in actually understanding if this transit is transiting over your natal planets, which is the planets when you were born. There were planets in certain signs. So if you have planets in Libra or Aries or Capricorn or Taurus, there is going to be a certain effect that happens in your life, and the emphasis is where is Libra in your chart. So I refer to the Vedic system. The Vedic system is precisely working with the Hindu calendar, and it is 23 degrees behind from the Western system. So when I say that you're a Pisces ascendant, it is a different ascendant 23 degrees apart in Western astrology. So a whole new chart needs to be drawn up, and your divisional charts need to be seen in order to understand how this transit is affecting you, and what is the emphasis that you need to create in order for you to balance the negative aspects of the transit. So in all our charts, we have a positive and a negative charge. And when there are planets going over the negative charge, we tend to get overtly negative about situations and we forget about the positives. So a Jyotish is a person who is usually employed to come in to give you emphasis on the Jyot, which is the light that is inside of you. So having a personal consultation is getting to know parts of yourself and being able to engage with your environment, and interact with it with as much positivity that you can, and being able to pray for it to get better. And a Jyotish is able to see these paths and give you emphasis on getting that positive directional strength as opposed to being dragged into the negative directional strength. And of course, a negative requires you to fight, not flight. And but there is a right moment to do that, and that's what a Jyotish can actually tell you about, what to do and in which moments are right for you to act and which moments will actually open up the opportunity for you to act. So here's my update for October 2022. If you liked my update, please like, subscribe if you are on YouTube, watching this on YouTube. And if you want your own personal consultation, you can DM me in my personal handles on Facebook with Work It with Rams, and Instagram with Work It with Rams, and YouTube with Work It with Rams. So, and I will get back to you as soon as possible and we can schedule your consult. Have a good evening, guys, and happy Dashera. Cheers.